So I wanted to share a quick little tip and secret that I've kind of found over the years for anybody that's suffering from sickle cell, because I know that's something that I suffer with as well. And I've had some problems with it, especially in my youth when I was younger. But I think that I've stumbled upon a pretty neat little hack or secret to make sure that whenever you do suffer from a crisis or from a pain episode, that you can really minimize the length of that. I know coming up at a younger age, typically a pain episode would last anywhere from a week to 2 weeks. Sometimes I would have to be hospitalized. There's no real solution. Typically, what they do is they just put you on painkillers for the entire time that you're going through that crisis. Can be extremely painful. Then at the time as well, it can do a lot of damage to your kidneys or to your liver. So what I found that works pretty well, which I kind of discovered this on my own when I started going to college. I figured out that if the problem is that my blood cells clot up, depending on the circumstance, if it's too cold, too stressful, if there's a lot of tension, typically it's just suffering from a blood clot, right? So what I figured out that works pretty well is anything that thins out your blood. So I know when I was in college, um, I figured out that actually beer was a blood thinner, and that would speed up the amount of time or the time to recovery whenever I'd be going through a pain episode or through a crisis. But what I wanted to share with you guys was something that I found a few years ago that's worked pretty well. From the time that I've discovered this solution, I noticed that all my blood clot episodes or sickle cell crisis episodes last less than a day. So typically, I'm able to cure my crisis within 24 to 48 hours using one simple supplement that works pretty well. I've tried out different supplements that I thought would be pretty beneficial. And this is also a supplement that doesn't have any side effects or the like. But what it is was by using L-Arginine or L-Citrulline as a supplement that actually speeds up the time to recovery. So I don't know if you know anyone that suffers with sickle cell that has pain episodes. A lot of us we have to go through blood transfusions. We have to constantly be in the hospital. I've had a lot of family members that suffered pretty dramatically from sickle cell. My sister died from sickle cell. My aunt passed away from sickle cell. But I myself, I'm getting close to the age of 40, and I've never needed a blood transfusion. I haven't been to the hospital for a sickle cell episode in since 2003, and it's mostly because I've been using this natural remedy, which has helped to keep me out of the hospital. And instead of being down for a couple of weeks, missing 2 or 3 weeks of work, being in extreme pain for 2 to 3 weeks at a time, by using this natural supplement, L-Arginine or L-Citrulline, which is a precursor to L-Arginine. It works pretty well also. Give me 1 second. Let me remove this. So L-Arginine right here, just by using this supplement, that's dramatically improved my quality of life. And uh, this is not something that I've heard from any doctors or any recommendation. I'm not sure what the medical literature says these days about the best way to treat or help with sickle cell, but I know this is a pretty powerful health hack for myself. I've been able to gain a lot of weight, build a lot of muscle, uh, pretty active. I can do a lot of things that most people with sickle cell can't, or that I used to not be able to do prior to discovering a lot of these alternatives. And it's all by just taking L-Arginine. And you can find this supplement in Walmart. You can find it at your local grocery store. You can typically order some online. As far as how, and again, I'm not a doctor or I'm not a medical practitioner. So, you can double check with your doctor if this works for you, or you can uh, consult whoever you normally talk to. But I can virtually guarantee you that if you're suffering from sickle cell and you take some L-Arginine, a high dose, it doesn't even have to be an extremely high dose. Now, if I do feel that I have a sickle cell crisis coming on, I'll take a couple of grams, maybe 2 or 3 grams uh, at a time until it goes away. Now, typically, L-arginine does take about 24 hours to kick in. So what I've started doing is just taking about 1 to maybe 3 grams every single day, just as a precaution. So whenever I do get a crisis, it doesn't impact me as much. But if I do feel that I'm in a crisis or a body part starts hurting, then what I'll do is I'll just increase the dosage. And typically within 24 to 48 hours, that higher dose will kick in and it'll pretty much get rid of the crisis. I've gotten rid of crises overnight pretty much just by combining L-arginine and drinking some beer. And which is crazy. No doctor will tell you this because typically they'll put you on these high-powered painkillers. They'll admit you to the hospital, get you on an IV drip, monitor your status, do a whole bunch of procedures and tests on your system. When for myself, I mean, it's been over 10 years since I haven't had to go to the hospital for sickle cell, right? Well, almost 20 now, if you really think about it, since 2003 was the last time that I really had to. But L-arginine was something I've been taking for several years now. And I've noticed since taking L-arginine, I've actually not had to take painkillers at all. So, what I've found is typically if you have sickle cell or if you know someone who has sickle cell, it could be extremely painful. So painkillers are a must. But by taking a consistent dose of L-arginine, I've been able to dramatically, well, I'll say it's been about 2 years now where I haven't even had to take a painkiller. It's still, I just kind of deal with the pain, but it's a lot easier to deal with having L-arginine to help to mitigate the effects of the crisis in general. And then from there, once you uh, take a regular dose of L-arginine, I feel that it just helps to minimize the impact of when you do have a crisis. It minimizes the reach, right? So usually the worst crisis will be in the back, lower back, and your legs. And now what I found most times is that a crisis might maybe impact my arms, maybe just one arm at a time, one leg at a time, but it'll never be just like my entire body. So um, definitely, if it's something that you suffer from and you have some experience with sickle cell, I definitely recommend using this. I just kind of wanted to get this off my chest because I know that there are some people, especially children, if you have a young child. I mean, I don't know the side effects from all the research I've done. L-arginine has virtually no side effects, no negative side effects, really, uh, that I know of. I mean, you can double check and check with your doctor, but there are no negative side effects. It helps increase blood flow. It helps with exercise and working out. It provides an energy boost as well. So I would say if you have young children that potentially could suffer from sickle cell, a lot of them are suffering in silence, and it could help to just get them a little supplementation of L-arginine. Or if you're an adult and you're suffering with this, I promise you, just test it out. If you get a crisis, instead of being out of commission for a week or 2 weeks, if you take a super high dose of L-arginine, not even that high. I know some athletes or some bodybuilders would take like 5 all the way up to 9 grams per day. I've never taken that many myself. Typically, I might take 3 to 4 grams in a single day, and that's even while dealing with the crisis, and that should be more than enough to clear out the crisis because it increases your blood flow. Your veins, arteries open up to be larger, right? And it helps with processing oxygen. So, which is the whole problem with sickle cell. So, why sit there and suffer for weeks, days or weeks when you can pretty much take a natural supplement that helps to get rid of the problem almost immediately or within 24 to 48 hours. So, go ahead and I'll recommend, I mean, if you could share this with anybody who you know is suffering with sickle cell, this will probably help them a ton. It's a pretty cheap supplement to get your hands on. It's pretty available anywhere else. I'm not, you know, being paid or anything like that to recommend this. This is something that I take personally, and I've seen tremendous results with in my own personal life. So hopefully this helps. Definitely check out and subscribe to the channel. Also, some of my other videos, I go into how the average, regular, everyday person could go ahead and get into a career that pays 6 figures without any college degree without any prior experience, where I kind of share some of the knowledge that I've picked up as well, you know, which is how I've been able to build my career, making well over six figures, working from home in the tech sales space. So I kind of teach you how to navigate that space and how to get in, what to say, how to formulate your resume. So definitely subscribe, check out the channel. Hopefully this was helpful. You guys have a blessed day. Goodbye.